All right, Miami Sports Central. This is the first video. Gonna have to get accustomed to saying that, but this is my guy Steven right here, and he's a huge Miami sports fan. So he likes the Dolphins, he likes the Heat. I don't know what other teams there are. Like I don't know if they have a hockey team or whatever, but do they, Steven?
The Florida Panthers.
Panthers? Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, so yeah, if you guys are interested in those teams, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm only going to be here for the first video just to get his feet underneath him so he can figure out how to do this. But in this video, we're going to talk about the Heat acquiring John Wall. I'm actually a Rockets fan, so I can chime in on this for sure. But so, Steven, what are your thoughts on John Wall? Would he make sense on the roster? Obviously, the price would have to be right, but I mean, how do you see John Wall fitting in with this Miami Heat team?
I think he'll probably come off the bench, to be honest,
Why do you say that?
because we already have Lowry starting.
So you think that Kyle Lowry should start over John Wall if they acquire him?
Yeah.
And like, why though? You gotta have a reason. Is it just because he fits the team better, or more of a
Yeah.
shooter?
Yeah, he's also a champion, so.
He did play with Kawhi Leonard though, and they beat a banged up Warriors team. But yeah, I mean, I will say from a guy that really likes John Wall, the Heat, if they did bring him in, it would have to be for really cheap. Like it'd have to be a buyout because they're not trading anyone to get him. They'd have to throw some money at Wall. They can offer. I don't know how much money that he got. I know they could at least give him like probably like I don't know $5 to $10 million. So it would be a significant pay cut for Wall. But if he really does want to get to a contender, because if the Rockets trade him, they can trade him to the Magic or the Thunder. So the Heat to me actually does make sense. It's enticing, and the reason why I say that is because the Heat don't really have a playmaker. Like I said, I'm not a Heat fan. I'm not trying to act like I know everything about them, but I know Bam Adebayo at one point was leading them in assists per game, and that's obviously not going to get it done. Bam is the big man; he's about what 6'9", so like, he's not going to be playing the point position, obviously. So if they bring in Wall, he's a better passer than Lowry. He's a better defender. He's a better finisher. He doesn't shoot like Lowry, and but like even IQ, like John Wall's a really good player. I think him next to Bam and Jimmy, and then you've got a guy like I was like a Tyler Hero who's going to come off the bench, of Duncan Robinson. I mean, I just think John Wall would be really good in the Heat as well. He'd be in the Eastern Conference where he played every single year of his career besides this past season. Obviously, he was in Washington. I mean, if Wall goes to like the Clippers, I mean, that would probably be a better fit because he's going to start like over Eric Bledsoe. Like, I don't even know if he would start on the Heat, but I'd imagine John Wall wouldn't even come to the Heat unless he was starting because John Wall still believes he's an all star. I mean, I don't know if Steven, if you've seen the clips this off season of him, but he's looked really good. He looks explosive, and I think if the Heat can get him for like cheap, they should bring him in and they should start him. I mean, they can bring Lowry off the bench because Ja Wall to me is just he's still an all-star caliber player. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on that, but I mean, he did average like 21 and 7 last season, and if you look at his numbers from the first 19 games of the year before the injury, I mean, he was looking really good. Like the Rockets were in the play-in, they were at 500. Christian Wood was playing really well with John Wall. I mean, if you look at what Wall did with Wood, I mean, imagine what he's going to do with a guy like Bam, who I think Bam's like a top 20 borderline top 20 player. I think Jimmy Butler is I don't know if Jimmy Butler is a superstar, but he's definitely a star. Like, what he did in the bubble was just it was like unbelievable. I mean, he just put the team on his back. I think John Wall, Jimmy, and Bam together is it can really beat just about anyone in the East. I don't think they're beating the Nets, but the Nets are a super team. But like, can they beat the Celtics? Can they beat the Philadelphia 76ers? Can they beat the Raptors, a team like that, the Celtics? I think absolutely. I think if the Heat got John Wall and he's healthy and motivated, I think that the Heat would be the second best team in the East because right now the Heat are going to be able to compete with anyone besides the Nets. But if they get Ja Wall, I mean, absolutely. So, Steven, now that I gave you those points, do you agree with me or do you still stand by your own point of that Lowry should start?
I still agree with you now.
Oh, you agree with me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you think Ja Wall can really change the Heat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that John Wall, like, he's definitely not the name that like Heat fans are going to be really excited about. But I can tell you from a guy that watched John Wall last season, he's still really good, and he's not going to be the best or the second best player on the Heat. So they've got nothing to lose. Now, I don't think this is going to happen because the Rockets want to trade John Wall. They don't want to buy him out. If they wanted to buy him out, I mean, it would have been reported, but like also like this was mutual. So it wasn't just like the Rockets want to trade John Wall or John Wall wants to be traded and the Rockets don't. So it's mutual. So they're going to try to find a trade partner. But if they can't find a trade partner, which is likely because the Rockets, they're going to probably have to detach an assets to trade Wall because John Wall's making over 32 million annually. One, who's going to want John Wall, and two, who's going to actually go ahead and make the trade. So I think the Heat makes a lot of sense. Honestly, when I first looked into this, I didn't think it did, but I just saw there was a beat writer from it was like fan side of the Heat or something like that, and they said that at the right price, should the Heat pursue John Wall? And I think the answer is yes. Because he's even if you don't think he's still an all star, he's the type of player that, like I said, he put up 21 and 7 last season. If you bring him in for basically nothing, because sure, you're gonna have to put in like $5 to $10 million, I'd imagine, maybe more. I don't know what they would pay, but it's better than going out and like they traded Precious Achua and Dragic to go and get Lowry. I know that, and they're pretty good players. Like Achua's defense is really good. He averaged, what was it, 23 a game in the summer league. Obviously, Dragic was a key important piece to them in the bubble run. So, if you can get John Wall for just nothing in the sense of like assets, absolutely you've got to do it. And John Wall, I think he's going to break out this season. I really think John Wall is going to get back to that all-star type of level. And what better place to do it than the Miami Heat? Because the Heat are a team that they're just a fun team to watch. Like they've got Hero and Robinson that they're as good as shooters as anyone. They've got Bam, and then they've got Jimmy Butler, who both defend, they both complete, they can do everything. Like Jimmy Butler and Bam, they can do everything on a basketball court. They just need someone to help them distribute the basketball, and they don't even need John Wall to score. Like they really don't. So he just needs to run the offense. John Wall's still going to give you 15 to 20 a game. He's a career 37% catch and shoot shooter. I know a lot of Heat fans might be turned off by John Wall's inability to shoot, but if he's shooting catch and shoot threes, he can do it. So, yeah, obviously, I do YouTube just about every day on basketball and the Rockets, so I have a little bit more knowledge than Steven, and I did not want to talk for this long, but it's a learning experience. This is his first video, and he's gonna have more videos. So, like I said, if you guys are still watching to this point, 7 minutes in, make sure you subscribe. He's gonna cover the Heat. He's gonna cover the Dolphins. He's gonna cover WWE because he's a big fan of wrestling. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you subscribe. Drop a like, comment what you want to see next. And yeah, Steven, any last words?
No, not really.
Not really. All right. So yeah, you want to just touch upon like basically what I just said, but add on so about your YouTube channel, like what you're gonna try to do here.
I'm gonna try and do more WWE and Miami Heat.
Are you gonna do Dolphins?
Yeah.
All right, man. Who's your favorite player on the Dolphins?
Tua.
Tua Tagovailoa. How do you think he did last week in the opener against the Pats?
He did pretty good.
All right, so there you have it, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Miami, what is it? Miami Sports Central. We've got to get. I don't even. That's
Yeah.
the name. Okay. All right, guys. Peace.